people, Deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Against this right back, Charlie, definitely.
Morning, folks.
Always just that active red line, defending. I think it's like.
Am I live? Of course I'm live. Same shit, different day, different week, same grind. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. Good morning to those of you in the United Kingdom. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone had a great weekend off the back of a fantastic week. And I hope we're all ready to do the same in regards to our goals, hopes, dreams, ambitions, aspirations, overcoming hardship, all of that good stuff. Any opinions, questions, talking points, Twitch gang, you know what to do. Obviously, this is a big day of Twitch. Obviously, can you head over to YouTube and hit the like button? But if you're on Twitch, you're good. We're here at 10 a.m. We go live at 11:30 to talk more specifically about Arsenal. And then this evening across Twitch and YouTube, an hour before kickoff. So kickoff, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. If you don't know what I'm talking about, is at 8 p.m. UK time. I'll be live an hour before at 7 p.m. So the grind don't stop. I can't lie. I don't know why I don't think my chair settings is all right. Chair feels like someone else sat in this. Is feeling a bit bugged, but yeah, man, I hope everyone's doing well and safe. I hope everyone's in good spirits. You know, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Hope everyone's blessed. I see some of you commenting from time. Apologies, people, because I did say I was going to be live at 10:15. I was going to go Sainsbury's and grab honey. I woke up this morning just catting out for some honey in my tea, but it's not possible. I'm going to go after this quickly, depending on when we finish. Knowing you lot, I know I'm not going to get a chance to. There's not too many windows of opportunity. So yeah, man. I hope everyone's doing good. I hope everyone's blessed. Throughout the course of this live stream, we're obviously going to talk about, we're going to review the Premier League. We're going to see what talking points are currently in the world of football. Obviously, I've already previewed Crystal Palace Arsenal as much as I can. Don't let me forget, we'll specify on that a bit more. Speaking of that, DG, according to reports, Marcelo Flores' father has said he's in line to start against Palace. What's your thoughts? Hope you're well as well. I'm blessed. I hope everyone else is. I think you may have misinterpreted, anything's possible, but I very much doubt in a top 4 clash where we're down to our last 10 games away from home, Marcelo Flores, despite not making his debut, etc., I very much doubt he's going to start. Probably that you misinterpreted that and they mean in the squad, and he follows, Amari Hutchinson, Charlie Patino, Zach Swanson, Mika Berev, people that have been in and around and involved in the squad. It's a good look. As you know, he's been in and around the Mexico setup. He's been playing quite well for a couple of years now at under 18s and 23s level. I do think there's a lot of refining he needs to do in his game, start playing with his head up a bit more. One thing I like about him, he's proactive. He's got that, I said it before, he's got that Alexis Sanchez, that Martinelli thing about him, but probably got to learn to do things less at pace and mix it up a bit. I would say probably play with his head up and just overall refinement according to his age, but he's a good footballer, man. He knows how to score goals. For me, his attitude, when things get tough, Marcelo Flores rolls his socks up and he tries to put in a shift. He knows how to score goals. He can play in a number of roles. I don't know how far the man's going to go in the game. That's down to him and if he can predict the future, but I think he's set to have a good career, whether it's at Arsenal or elsewhere. So yeah, large up him in it, really, really and truly. So yeah, Marcelo Flores hopefully is involved in the squad. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Good for him, but I very much doubt he's going to start. Where is he going to start? Anything can happen in life, but he's not going to start off the flanks. He's not going to start in the 10. He's not going to start in midfield. He's not going to start front. And if he did, fair play, I would back him all the way. But Arteta would have some questions. And it's not necessarily, obviously, you've got to be able to thrive where you get an opportunity. But I don't think it'd be wise to throw him in, especially away from home. So I think you may have misinterpreted that, my dude. But nonetheless, yeah, that's my opinion. Keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. Need to talk about Lampard playing Holgate in his 6. Well, he's done it before at his old team. Was he at Barnsley? Holgate's done it before. And to be fair, he scored. And as much as I'm not the biggest fan of Holgate, I don't think he was the worst player on the field. If I'm completely right. For Everton. Now, Everton is same old, same old. They don't score enough goals and they can't keep clean sheets. So again, that's conceded too many goals. If you're fighting relegation or flirting with it, is probably one root of your problems. And it's the latest for West Ham against Everton. I would say Everton were a bit better than we're accustomed to, but arguably toothless. Nothing really going in midfield. You know, Doucouré's breaking. There's no options. You know, the fullbacks are not good enough. Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison working with scraps. Richarlison missing simple chances. You know, all he did is really win some fouls. Boy, same old where they're concerned, really and truly. It's just structurally wrong. You can't see how Lampard gets them out of that. I do think one luxury, like with Brentford at a time, like with Leeds and like with Everton, it probably, I think the bottom three stays the same, or I would like it to, with the exception of Burnley maybe getting out of that. So it is what it is in that regards, man. In fact, let's start with reviewing the Premier League, man. Because we've already started. If you've been under a rock in the last 48 hours, West Ham 2, Everton 1, 3-goal thriller at the London Stadium. Bowen snatches it for his side. And to be fair with you, we can't not talk about Cresswell's goal. Well, bloody hell, Cresswell, what a free kick that was. What a free kick that was. Top draw. Obviously after that, Holgate got Everton back in the game, but again, game management. Bowen got West Ham back in front, and ultimately that's the goal that took the 3 points. But game management, breaking together, defending together, it was all terrible. 29-year-old Michael Keane, to get that second yellow, it sums up Everton. They're in trouble, and if they go down, they might not come back, because structurally off the field they've been making a number of bad decisions, and we all know they probably will have to do a fire sale. They're already under problems financially. Everton could be thrown in the toilet, really and truly. So it's peak for them. Spurs 5, Arsenal, definitely not Arsenal 1. Spurs 5, Newcastle United 1. Now, but Newcastle ain't got nothing to play for. Newcastle were media. I mean, I would say where it went wrong for Newcastle, in the same way I look at Leicester, and I would say when they brought on Marty, that probably cost them all 3 points, in my opinion, because they changed things. I know Johnny Evans probably didn't have 90 in his tank. I think for Spurs versus Newcastle, when Newcastle got a bit comfortable, when they tried to be a bit open and expansive and arguably naive, is the problems. Spurs struggle to break down low blocks. If you give them space and things like that, they're probably, excluding Liverpool and City, I can't lie, Spurs are up there for probably the best counter-attacking team in the league, really. You see what Kane, Son, Kulusevski, etc. did, and there was credit where due, there was a number of great goals Spurs scored in terms of a counter-attacking move. I even had time to come off the bench and score. Spurs came back from behind, so again, there's something to be said there, but and it was a good free kick from Sarr, or better set piece routine. Maybe Bentancur's fortunate not to be sent off for that headbutt, but other than that, Spurs did what they needed to do. 3 fullbacks have scored. Technically, Ben Davies, yes, he's playing as a centre back, but him, Doherty, Emerson Royal probably didn't want to leave the field. Spurs fans might even start liking you again. Bourgeois and Son got involved, and to be fair, Spurs, I would say, were at 60% because they didn't need to be at anything other than that, and it's a good win for Spurs. And like I said, for me, the counter, like the flurry of goals in the second half, was it? The 4 goals that came in the second half was a mezza. Newcastle, this is why they're probably in them problems, and a number of their players probably will have to be shipped off, if I'm honest with you. The Bradford, they'll need a better goalie. Target, I don't see how that lasts at left back. Sarr and Dan Burns are right, but Sarr, I can't see how it works. Mankilo, terrible marking for one of the goals. Target, terrible marking for another. Joe Linton, anonymous. Joe Linton, anonymous. John Joe Shelby, not quite good enough. Joe Willock, all gear, no idea. He did win the free kick, while he technically gets an assist. St. Maximin, extremely overrated, lovely skills and that, but there's a reason he's at Newcastle. Chris Wood, surely one of the flops of the Premier League season, £25 million. It's quite meaty, really. Ryan Fraser, etc., all anonymous. Bruno Guimaraes, I don't know why he doesn't start, but he came off the bench, largely ineffective. And Spurs, whoever is in full at the time, they have to be the favourites. Now, this favourite tag, I don't mind Spurs having it. I don't want Arsenal to have it, because I would say we benefited from that, When 10 games left to go, Spurs have a favourable run of games. You look at us and United, Arsenal, if you don't know who I support, on paper, the games are difficult. I won't quite say the games are easy for Spurs because they still have a North London derby. I think they've got one big game. It might be Liverpool. I might be capping. But other than that, there's games you'd expect them to win. And it seems like the players are listening to Conte. Players are standing up to be counted. As I've said previously with Spurs, I personally believe Romero, Kulusevski, Bentancur. I'm definitely missing out one more name, people. I might be. But the signings they brought in January is giving them a boost. Harry Kane's return. Son's a madman on the best of days. You know, they're finding their form. They've got their talisman. They've got a favourable run of games. They're up to fourth now, putting pressure on us. I don't mind them having the favourites tag because, you know, the beautiful thing about being underrated, nobody sees you coming. If it's all Spurs, then so be it. All Arsenal need to do is get 6 points this week and fundamentally just focus on themselves, because if Spurs lose their next 2 games and Arsenal lose their next 2 games and United win their next 2 games, what's the sentiment said then? You know, it was all Arsenal. Spurs hopefully temporarily have picked above Arsenal now, and man are saying that they're the favourites. And this is the, you know, this is the talking point. So again, it is what it is, people. Other than that, Liverpool keep the pressure on Man City, and this week is going to be a brazy game for fixtures because you've got Liverpool, Manchester City, but Liverpool beat Watford 2-0. Again, you know, Jota, shout out to Joe Gomez for taking his opportunity. What an assist for Jota. Bit of a harsh penalty, but it is a penalty. Fabinho taps that in. Mupe missing tap-ins once again. I bet on Saturday he has his goal-scoring boots against us, but Brighton and Norwich was 0-0. Manchester City, I think Sterling was superb in that game. Kevin De Bruyne and Gundogan. Sterling got 2 assists, by the way. Made sure that they won 2-0 against Burnley. Identical scoreline to Liverpool-Watford. Leeds and Southampton, I did think there'd be more goals, but it wasn't. You know, a curler of a free kick for Ward-Prowse sees Southampton take a point. It was Leeds 1, Southampton 1. Wolves beat Aston Villa. I mean, if certain managers focus less on Bukayo Saka and more on keeping clean sheets and trying to win games, maybe you get 3 points and your team would improve. You know, apart from Coutinho scoring against United, what have you done, Steven Gerrard? You know, it's ironically, it's like you lot slipped up and you know all about that. You know, Ollie Watkins penalty in the 86th minute kind of saves face, but in the celebration police derby, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1-2-1, and it couldn't even happen to a nicer guy. Ashley Young, great goal, mate. Wrong side. Again, stop worrying about people celebrating and you might bloody learn a thing, you twats. You know, Aston Villa, I can't lie. What's your form saying? Because I can't lie. I'm a big fan of what Gerrard does as a gaffer, but what have you lot done in the league? Like, since you drew with United, you beat Everton, then you drew with Leeds, then you lost to Newcastle, then you lost to Watford, and you beat Brighton and Southampton and Leeds. Fair enough, you went on a run, and now you've lost to West Ham, you've lost to Arsenal. You've got three losses in a row, really. You know, 2 wins in the last 5 games, 3 defeats. Crazy, you know. Yeah, extremely overrated. I can't lie. Since Gerrard's taken over, extremely overrated, man. I can't lie. But yeah, shout out to him. You know, he's become a pagan, really and truly. Manchester United and Leicester drew 1-1. As I said, I think if Leicester don't bring on Marty and him and Kasper Schmeichel don't stink up the place, they get all 3 points. Maybe McTominay, like Bentancur, lucky not to be sent off potentially. I don't know. Should that goal be ruled out? I do think it's a foul on Varane, but I do think it's a soft one. Shout out to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire's defending on that. It's same old with Man United, isn't it? Like, it's, you know, it's almost the same problems I saw a bit with Everton. Is that Fred's made the mistake and he has to hold his hands up for the goal they conceded. But United are breaking, and I don't think they've won when they ain't played Ronaldo. I saw a stat. I think I'm getting it wrong, but there was a stat around that in the last couple of games. You know, it was all wrong for United. Again, I say it every week, midfield. Until they upgrade on either Fred or McTominay or both, there's not going to be anything in that midfield. You know, again, people are breaking. There's no support. People are isolated. Other players are looking at people to make the difference. De Gea's kicking is shocking. Absolutely shocking. I can't lie. Maguire's a train wreck. I feel sorry for Varane. You know, Ralph tried to do the City thing, but his players are not near as good enough or intelligent, or the structure isn't perfect enough to do it. You know, with Bruno, Pogba, Sancho, everybody probably taking time up there. It just didn't work. It was just terrible, really. You know, shout out to James Justin, had a fantastic performance against United, I feel. And, you know, you look at him, Livramento, Ben Johnson, you know, a couple of man, you're probably unfortunate that there's bare right backs about, Lamptey as well. And there's a lot of English fullbacks about, but you're not playing ahead of Reece James, let alone Trent Alexander-Arnold, and arguably Kyle Walker if fit as well. So there's bare fullbacks, but it was same old for Man United. And what sums up the day, what sums up that day is Alanga fouling Rashford, and then Bruno Fernandes shamelessly trying to say it's a pen. It's crazy, man. Varane hasn't been good also. I mean, he hasn't been invincible, but I think Varane's just dropped the level. When you're joining a team, when you're coming out with the ball from the back, no striker, no midfielders want it, and you're used to Modric and Kroos. When you've got Maguire, when you've got Deluded, who's terrible, and Wan-Bissaka, who didn't play but also terrible. Shaw, who's a shadow of his former self. De Gea, who isn't that bad, but he's shambolic. The foundations aren't strong. You're going to drop a level. You're not going to be Superman. At best, Varane has to just do the Koscielny thing, which was at Arsenal a few years ago, in that you're not shining in a great defense. You're shining because everybody else is on a joke thing, and you're doing better than that. It is what it is. I'd rather start Fred. To be fair, I didn't understand how Matic didn't start. I don't see what McTominay brings. McTominay just seems like them permanent youngsters, if I'm completely honest. I don't know what he brings to the table. They need a new keeper. The hair is from the previous series. He has no feet. And you're right, man. I don't like to kill keepers for that, but his kicking kind of harms the team. It's just shambolic, man. It's the same old, man. Like he's extremely needy. I would say for the lot, it's like he suffers from self-confidence. He doesn't look brave enough. He doesn't want to attack, and when he does, it's inconsistent. He can't defend. He's terrible. And if your back five is terrible, your midfield's gonna be terrible. Then it's irrelevant who you've got up front. Marcus Rashford chasing, shadows. Really, it's the same old from Manchester United. If I'm completely honest with you, away from that, you obviously saw Chelsea got stung by Brentford Bees again in the London derby. Brentford 4, London Blues 1. And if the Chelsea players showed as much fight and covered as much ground as the Chelsea fans do in their protest, they might have got something from the game. What a performance from Brentford, man. I mean, you've seen the highlights, you've seen the goals. They bopped them still. I can't lie. They absolutely rocked Chelsea. Chelsea took the lead, and it was a banger from Rudiger, an absolute banger. Thomas Partey, today's your day, my G. Absolute thumper of a goal from Rudiger. Instead, it's irrelevant because that Vitali Janet guy, the 2 goals he scored in the 10-minute passage between the 50th and 60th minute, bad boy goals. The first one's a very good finish. The second one's also a good finish, but it's a lovely move. Wieser's goal, terrible defending by Chelsea. Rudiger swiping at it. Thiago swiping at it. I think Mason Mount off topic was irrelevant in the game. Ericsson, obviously, former Spurs lad. That's a nice goal. And on that topic, you're happy to see Ericsson kicking ball and doing his thing. Mbeumo, well, Tony got an assist, but Mbeumo got a double assist. And I think his decision-making and stuff in that game is quite slept on. Brentford stung them in it. Good performance by Brentford. It shows resilience. They bopped them, and that's a highlight of Brentford's season, man. Let's see what they build upon next season, because I do feel they've had a mixed campaign where, again, them, Everton and Leeds are probably lucky that there's 3 teams worse than them next season. That may not be the case. But yeah, man, I think Mount was poor. Loftus-Cheek struggled. Werner is terrible. Kai Havertz, the whole team, you lost 4-1 to Brentford, didn't it? Brentford at home is not for everyone. It was terrible, man. It was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. It's boy, what can you say? It's terrible. And obviously Arsenal are playing today, where we've got Crystal Palace. Whether they've got Elise, Zaha, Eze, all these guys is irrelevant. Vieira's got them playing well. They've got a couple of players that have been called up at international duty. They're going to be playing at home. We're going to need to stand up to be fighted. We've got 2 winnable games this week. When I say winnable, it doesn't mean that it's easy. Crystal Palace is going to be tough. In the same way Brighton always roll over for Spurs, they seem to want to play well against us. So 6 points on the line, and no less, nothing less than that. Spurs obviously helped their goal difference out this week as well. So yeah, we're gonna have to be at top form, really, really and truly, to do anything, if I'm completely honest. So yeah, that's that, really. And for me, again, James Maddison, I have to specify a bit on Mr. Maddison, in my opinion, man. James Maddison, absolute baller. Like, again, the set piece delivery, the movement off the ball. I think James Maddison's ready for a big club. I can't lie. I really want him at Arsenal. I know it's not going to happen. Allegedly, they want to sell Maddison. There was rumors before the game that they're open to selling Maddison. I think he's ready. I think a move boosts your England chances. Again, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options there. He can play as a 10. He can play as an 8. He can actually play off the flanks. The set piece delivery is amazing. The movement, for me, the attitude, he wants it. Half the time he wants it. He wants to play well in big games. I think he'd be a great signing for United. But once again, even though he can play in the 8, they would need a midfielder to be able to do that. Like it's a, you know, they need to fix that midfield. And on the topic of Maddison, just because I mentioned it, this was on the 2nd, so this was on Saturday, just before they played each other. Literally, people, as you can see here. Leicester consider selling 50 million rated playmaker James Maddison to fund summer revamp of squad. Telemans had a decent game in the second half as well, but I just feel with Telemans, a lot of things people can't, Arsenal fans specifically, can't move like Telemans is the answer. And what I mean by that is he could improve, he could boost the team, he could improve the team, but hardly transforms our midfield. He's a good player with the potential to be a great player, but he's got the bozo gene in him. He's quite languid. He switches off defensively, gives silly fouls away. His passing can be inconsistent. He can go missing. You know, his tackling is poor. These are things man kills Xhaka for. So why are you going to praise Telemans for it as much as I want him? But for what it's worth, if they do want to sell Maddison, someone needs to buy him in it. I think United probably need him the most. With Smith Rowe and Odegaard, we probably will not go for him, but I would love him, people. As you can see here, they're considering selling James Maddison. He's made, I would say, that's probably 41 goals now. Apparently, Maddison is not short of admirers. Arsenal were keen to sign him prior to signing Odegaard. However, there are no obvious takers at this stage for the level he would want to move to. As you know, Leicester also have decisions to make on Yuri Telemans, plus Kelechi Iheanacho, Soyuncu, and Perez. Apparently, Hamza Chowdhury, Amati and Bertrand could also go down. Allegedly, Rodgers wants a centre-back, midfielder, and forward. I mean, Eddie and Nketiah might as well go there. You might as well take El Nene as well. But for what it's worth, I'm having Maddison. If they do want to sell Maddison, I'm having that. Arsenal on alert as Leicester ready to sell James Maddison to what you kind of just seen to sum things up. And for me, what they'll make at least a £30 million profit on the 20 they spent in 2018. He's 25 years of age now. I think now's the time, Madders, man. Now's the time. You know, and again, for me, it's the movement. He's always in space, always available. You know, the set piece delivery, much less for Kelechi Iheanacho's goal. What a finish that was, man. I mean, he's ready, man, in my opinion. But what do I know? What have we got there? So yeah, man, I'm having James Maddison. I want him at Arsenal this summer. But it's not going to happen in it because we probably need a number 8, which he can play there, but he's not. And we need a striker, man. The Bruno up top, it failed. He tried to do the City thing. It didn't bang. It didn't bang. The system isn't good enough. United's players are not intelligent like City's players at this moment in time. It was never gonna work, man. Of course, I would love Man United to keep suffering, bro. Ferguson's got the cosign. You're right. Huge game today. Potentially could go 2 points behind Chelsea. Whether it's 2 points behind Chelsea, returning to fourth, or making sure we stay up there, or keep making ground on the people around us. Let's just win the game. I think Zaha and Elisa, at least one of the two will play. But regardless, let's do a thing. I don't know, man. Maybe he wants more, innit? Leicester apparently desperately need a centre-back to partner Fofana. Charles. Not for me. Lazy at times, goes missing. Soyuncu. Telemans gets nonchalant in games at times. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to praise a midfielder for tackling him. He can play the 8 role. You know, I'm taking Telemans, but I do think football fans, and specifically Arsenal fans, they put him on a level he's not like. And then my point is not to criticize him or do any of that. It's the fact of when he now signs for us in this imaginary world, you know, and he doesn't do certain things, man are going to sit there and say he's overrated, really and truly. So I don't know what to make of that, really. He's off topic, but did you see Pedri's goal last night against Sevilla? No, I didn't, but I see it's a madness. I think that's one for the highlights. Maddison looks like a Chelsea 50 million signing. Chelsea United probably could do with him. He'd fit in well at Chelsea United, provided they sign at 8 would be well. And I'm sure there's a role for him at City, but that one there is probably not going to happen. And Arsenal, that's a myth, man. Pepe swapping a bit of cash for Telemans. We're zanging for Maddison. We're zanging ourselves. Might as well just buy him full stop, if I'm completely honest with you. So yeah, it is what it is. If we get into some football news, people, we're moving through this quite quick. Footy talk. Let's see what's going on in the world of football, people. You know, I've got hella thingies, man. Tabs open and the rest of it, man. Keep your opinions, etc. coming. I'm more concerned about Palace and Brighton than I am about the North London derby. Listen, the North London derby, all of that, let's just deal with what's in front of us. What's in front of us right now today is Crystal Palace, South London under the lights. Then it's Brighton at home, which again is a bogey team home and away, much like Crystal Palace, much like Southampton after that. Then after that, you know, it's Chelsea United and West Ham United. Let's just focus on what they're doing. You know, every team's got a, you know, again, if United and Arsenal if Arsenal and Spurs flunk their next games, then United's back in pole position and whatnot. And the sentiments, again, with Arsenal fans are now panicking. Spurs are the team. Spurs, prior to beating Newcastle, won back-to-back games for the first time in a while. Now they've got 3 runs in the spin, 3 wins on the spin. You know, they're picking up form. They've got Conte, Kane, Son finding form. Their new signings have added something. Spurs have a favourable run of fixtures, which we're hoping they're really Spursy, but that's irrelevant. They're in, you know, as I keep saying, Spurs, let them be favourites for fourth. The favourites tag is calm. They've got a target on their head. The only way is down if you're fourth. Obviously, Chelsea could make third debatable and stuff, but the only way is down. All Arsenal need to do is keep doing what they're doing. If we lose today, don't get too animated. If you win, don't get too excited. Just keep doing what we're doing and you have half a chance, if I'm completely honest with you. So, yeah, and again, what's going against Arsenal, you know, what's going for Arsenal is the obvious. Togetherness, young players are doing their thing. You're seeing what Arteta is about. There's more steel, grit, determination, resilience. You've got to go out there and show it. Respectfully, it's all fun and games doing that against Leicester, who had 2 games in a spin. You know, getting praised for losing against City. Now you're going to need to show something. You're going to need to. Crystal Palace away, very difficult. Our home form is better than our away form. Crystal Palace is a bogey team. You know, Crystal Palace last season, we needed Pepe to save it in the second half. You know, the year before that, what happened at Selhurst Park? You know, last year, what happened at our place? You know, what happened at our place the year before that? I'm sure it was 0-0 where Tierney was doing the business. It was our most attacking player, which tells you everything. You know, we've got some difficult great games to play. We've got some difficult grounds. There's injuries creeping up. We're just going to need to do what we're doing. The pressure's on. Stick to what you're doing. Don't get too animated. Don't get too excited. Of course, you know, seeing Spurs win, seeing Chelsea drop points, United drop points, West Ham win. Of course, you want to take care of business today. We're coming against a very informed team and we're going to have to earn the right to play. So let's hope we can do a thing. If not, then boy, you know, any narrative these players want to write, it's there for them. Today's war, Brighton's war as well. You need 6 points this week. If you can't, but for me, if I'm honest with you, Southampton, Brighton, and Palace, they're all going to raise their games, but they're games that you need to win. You know, they're games that you need to win. It probably is the decider, the North London derby. But again, if Spurs fuck up the next couple of games, or likewise, if we fuck up the next couple of games and Spurs or Arsenal keep doing their thing, pardon my language, it could be decided more or less before then. And that's what I want to get into, you know, really. It would be one for the footballing gods and whatnot with the TV rights to make that North London derby everything. But just keep doing what we're doing, man. Honestly, just keep doing what we're doing and you have half a chance. If you don't, then you lot are smart enough to know where you're at with that one, innit? Simple as that. Simple as that. Two massive games for Arsenal this week, without a doubt. So yeah, man, let them have the favourites tag. I don't give a fuck about the favourites tag. In fact, they argue I want Spurs to because they have a target on their back for a large period. And you know, it's only last month that man are saying Arsenal were fourth. Other than that, we was a good team. We was playing well. That's it. When you're, you know, when people are not looking, that's when you can surprise people. The target on their back doesn't surprise me. You know, I don't care who's favourites. United were favourites to fight for a league title, let alone fourth. Where are they now? You know, we'll have to see what's going on, man. Have to see what's going on, and it's looking like the 12th of May. But then again, I saw that it might be it's the 12th of May, a Thursday. They're saying it's a Thursday, so it is what it is. And we all know the games this week or this month, better yet, are coming thick and fast. We got enough games. I'm sure I could be wrong, but Spurs actually got the less games to play, man. So yeah, man, it is what it is. Pardon me. Shout out to Dembele, has shown exactly how to deal with your own fans booing you, man. He's getting standing ovations. Pardon my language, but that's why I say fuck the fans of all clubs. They love you, then they hate you, then they love you again. You know, they were booing you, demonizing you. The manager was moving iffy. Now everybody's breading. So fuck the fans, you know, they do what they want. But you're right. I wouldn't say there's any way to deal with boos necessarily. But you're right, Frankie. Just get on with it. Let people talk. They love you, then hate you. Look at Aaron Ramsey. A lot of Arsenal fans hated him. The minute he left, man are crying. You know, look at Ramsdale. A lot of fans, and I'm not talking about the fans that were saying, "Oh, I'm not sure in him." I'm talking about the fans that were drawing conclusions. They're probably the ones that are his biggest supporters. You can't take fans seriously. Obviously, remember the fans love you and things. It's completely different, but it's like me with content. Don't get it twisted. I love each and every one of you, but it's only to a certain point, because I know some of you like what you see, then you hate what you see. You know. You know, in the same way we all listen to music and things, we like one artist and we never listening to them again, or 1 minute you think everybody. It's funny because it's always, you're not so deluded when you might agree with a point, and then you're deluded when you're not, rather than we just have different opinions. So you got to take opinions at face value. You can't let them make you or break you. You can't believe your own hype. Likewise, you can't believe all the critics, really, is what I would say. But you're right. I'm more worried about Tottenham than United. I'm worried about everybody. Everybody's in with a fight. But most importantly, I'm worried about what Arsenal are doing. I don't necessarily care how well or how bad Spurs, United, West Ham are doing. Obviously, we always take one eye and look at what's going on. But fundamentally, it's ourselves. You know, for the last couple of years, top four has been who can stink up the place the most. Respectfully, now with Chelsea making third look debatable, everyone fighting for fourth is because whether it's, obviously, not everyone can fight for the league title, but nine times out of 10, it's because you're inconsistent. That's what fourth is. If you're not doing any better than that, it's inconsistencies. And you've seen throughout the whole season, Arsenal have shown that, Spurs have shown that, United have shown that, the Hammers have shown that. It is what it is. So it's a debatable one, man. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. You need to be, no matter how many times people drop points, you need to be able to take advantage. And we've been doing that up until this point. Previously, there's been years where we haven't. So it is what it is. With United and Chelsea dropping points, with Spurs doing what they need to do, West Ham the same. Again, you go into this game, last game of the week, in terms of this game week for the Premier League, knowing exactly what you need to do. It's as simple as that. I appreciate it as well. I was just making a general point, Frankie, man. It's like, fuck the fans, man. You know, I'm not being funny. Musa Dembele and that, man. Oh, Carl, you're moving brazy. Nah, man. Shout out to you. What have you said? Man's a Dragon Slayer. You are my favorite streamer. I've been here since day one, and I've been here ever since. You gave me confidence and pride in myself on watching you. For example, I went up to my crush the other day and asked her, can we go to the disco together and kiss? She said no, but I was still proud of myself because it took a lot of courage to go up to her, and got that courage from watching you. I love your content, bro. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that, man. She's probably, listen, go again, bro. It don't matter. There's enough girl in this world, innit? You know, it is what it is. When Arsene Wenger sold Anelka, he didn't watch that Thierry Henry was landing, innit? Like, just, you get it? Keep going, my guy. Keep going. You know, as men, we have to be hunters, innit? Sometimes when you hunt, you don't come back with no meals. So it is what it is, man. We got, again, the game's the game. Trust me. All they can say is no. And obviously, we're not like certain United young players and that, you know, no means no, and that we go again in it. So shout out to you. She don't know what she's missing out. She's missing out on the real G, bro. Shout out to you for trying to go to the disco. I'd say rave, but yeah, man. How old are you, bro? But yeah, shout out to you, man. Confidence comes from within, though. You did that by yourself. You know, confidence. Do you know how many times I'm lacking confidence? And what I've learned in life, you could, especially, like for me, when I used to go into certain professional settings, like you just got to gas yourself to believe it. If you start believing, it doesn't make sense. But if you're not confident in something and you start to believe it and lie to yourself, it starts to make sense, really and truly. Even down to little things, like when I go to social events or networking events, just talk, I have little goals in my head. Like, obviously, man, I have to network, but I'll be like, just talk to 3 random people. Just even if it's just general chit chat, just chat to a couple people, innit? Like, even with content, I remember I used to go out there and watch, like, how do I make it make sense? Like people that would be performing in public, typically central London, or people that would be preaching. Now, that might sound mad to you, but I'm just looking at the sense of how much confidence it takes, regardless of what you say, to talk to random people just on the street making a scene. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. Transfer market might be the deciding factor. Exactly. And that's my fear with Spurs, you know, seeing, as I said, seeing the boost that Bentancur, you know, Kulusevski, I might be missing out one more Don, but, you know, what Romero gave them in the summer, and just Romero being fit for Spurs, by the way, what he's played the last 12, 13 games, what that's given them, you know, and fundamentally, as much as I like what the young players them are doing at this club and things like that, it might come down to just quality players doing quality things, and respectfully, Lacazette, Eddie and Nketiah, You might be games you need your strikers to do the job. I can't really bet on people with 4 goals between them with 10 games left. I hope that there's some mad boost in form, but I don't believe in miracles like that per se. I believe in miracles that you work for. So it might come down to that, Rich. If it does, then ourselves to blame. Even with the goal difference thing, Spurs kind of leveling it out now. So we'll have to see. Hey, you better shout with that Cedric shit, pussy. Making me not like you, bro. Thoughts on the PSG game? I never see it, but I see Neymar scored against Lorient, and I see Sergio Ramos played. So it's a highlights job for me in Barcelona and PSG, man. Come on, man. Shout out to you, bro. Keep going, bro. Keep going. You keep going. Is Tomiyasu still injured? Allegedly, he's back in training, but I ain't seen him in the pictures. Ramsdale Saka training. I don't know. Are we doing a bit of acting like Tomiyasu ain't playing? Now, there is no reason to drop Cedric, so I think Arteta will start him and play him. But for me, if Tomiyasu's fit and he's been able to use the international duty to pattern himself properly and get some cobwebs out as much as you can, if I remember correctly, I didn't see him in none of the pictures in the friendly against Brentford B, which I hope he did play, but it was an anonymous thing. Then Tomiyasu plays, you know. We've got a decent back five. I need my back five to play. And Tomiyasu with the first and second balls gives you something away from home. Ramsdale's character among anything. So shout out to Leno. I have confidence in Leno, but yeah, man, especially away from home, I need the character Ramsdale provides. I need the distribution because you're just going to, if it's that high intensity, energetic game with Gallagher and all of that, then we need to, and the fans are on top of us, then we need to hold on to the ball. And I don't think Leno provides us with the opportunities. You know, he kicks the ball off the field way too often. And this is already on a team that, let's face it, we attack from wide areas. We don't have much in central areas, you know, before it gets to Odegaard. And to get to Odegaard, it needs to, you get it. You know, why do you think Spurs have improved? Slightly. Bentancur's coming and just doing the basics to another level. Why do you think United are struggling among everything? The midfield. Arsenal, yeah, Partey's come in form. Odegaard's in the 10. Xhaka isn't amazing. He isn't terrible, but you know, we've got a mixed bag in midfield over the course of a season. Again, right now it's doing better, but we've had a mixed bag of results. This is like, until these 3 teams consistently address their midfield, then there's only going to be so much. Your defense might win you titles, you know, your strikers might win you games, but it's the midfield battle 9 times out of 10. They booed Ramos. I mean, they boo everyone, man. Nice to see Messi, Neymar, Mbappe all back. Brazy. Lacazette has gone 17 hours and 53 minutes of Premier League football without scoring a goal from open play. Bro, he's well overdue, bro. That's brother. Works hard, though, innit? I missed it, I'm sure. But if Arteta does not get full, should the season be considered a failure in his job on the line? Not necessarily. Obviously, with what we found ourselves in and whatnot, then it is a failure. Up in whatever month, whatever date, people started to seriously talk about Arsenal grabbing top 4. That's when it becomes a failure. From that until May, if that doesn't happen. But generally, again, the goalpost shift. Like I said, in the August of Leicester winning the league title, I very much doubt that they were talking about winning the league title in August. Something became presentable for them, and they took it really and truly. So there are those things. It would be a failure for me. It would be a very disappointment because again, some of you, Arteta, you ain't managed in the Champions League. You know, some of these players ain't played in the Champions League. Couple of you, literally a couple, I'm probably sure on Xhaka. Some of you were here when we was in the Champions League and haven't been. Now, I can't blame that all on Xhaka, but that will kind of, for me, reflect where we've gone as a club. So there's an opportunity to do that. There's an opportunity for us to maybe attract better players, you know, to just achieve something, even though it's just qualifying for the sake of it. You know, for me to do Arsenal watch-alongs in the Champions League, you know, the finances it brings in, Arteta managing in the Champions League, you know, it's a good look. And it would be a failure not to get it. But saying that, just the other day, Edu was saying there's no plans, there's no tasks, there's no goals for this season. The target was probably to get back into the Europa League. But saying that, Arsenal's target should always be full. So I would consider it a failure, but since we've become a serious contender for this top 4 thing, as if I'm Spurs or if I'm United or even West Ham, if I've missed out, I'm going to be quite vexed if I was them. So I would say that. I wouldn't necessarily make him lose his job. I wouldn't give him that new contract just yet. It's not that he doesn't deserve it, you know, because he's done the building blocks and things. On one hand, I can't really praise a manager for doing that because that's what he should be doing anyways. But on the other hand, there's building blocks, there's a new mentality. top 6 was probably the realistic goal. So we've kind of achieved that. But I would probably hold off on the new contract, because once again, it kind of reflects when it's kind of the pressure's on and it's them serious moments. Maybe Arteta's team or what he's telling them kind of messes up, like with Europa League last season, like with if it was to mess up, which I hope it's not, man. That's cool, man. We want to be in the club, man. That's cool, man. I just said we'll probably be qualifying for the sake of qualifying. So, but let's just qualify. Let's get into the club and then worry about if we can buy a drink later, man. Simple as that, really. If I'm honest. If Oli can coach United to 2 wins against PSG, I want to see what Mikel can do. I hear that. Hey, who is this fake DG as well, man? I should copyright that, man. Some fake, some Rebo. You've been following since August the 6th. I thought this was a troll. You're calm. My son, man. Looks like it'll be West Ham versus Barcelona Europa League final. Do you feel Martin Odegaard can grab 10 goals from a season from midfield? He probably needs to develop into and become to that. He doesn't look like a natural goal scorer, but yeah, man. He needs to be into it, but develop into a scenario where he can do that. But yeah, I wouldn't consider sacking Arteta on the basis of that. But yeah, man. And obviously it's a results driven business, you know. I can't say he shouldn't, but that's my problem, is that it just feels like there's just, with it connected to Arsenal's camp, there's just going to be the wolves back onto him if we fail to do such, in my opinion. Where again, he probably should even get a new deal if we don't get top 4, but I would probably hold off, because again, if you're going to want to be a big team or whatever to win stuff, which he has won the FA Cup, when it gets to these high pressure moments, like now it's crunch time, innit? Like it's crunch time. I need to know that you can do a thing. If you can't, then it's a myth, really, you know. It's Laka now, bro. Lacazette can't talk to Firmino in that category, bro. You know, I hear it though, and maybe if Firmino was at Arsenal, we'd look at it a bit more. But Lacazette's creativity is not on the same level as Firmino. His influence in the game, of course, when he's playing with these kids, is that, and he doesn't. At least Firmino can press. They're not in the same category. But I would say there's a similarity in that maybe at Chelsea. At Liverpool, Firmino, they don't necessarily expect goals from him, and at Arsenal, whether we expected it when we signed him or not, I don't think there's anybody who fans, or maybe even Arteta, that expects him to. I personally feel the bar's quite on the floor with Lacazette, if I'm completely honest, as much as I like him. But yeah, to answer that question, he probably is in that bracket. But yeah, man, myth. United got lucky against PSG, had little to do with Ollie's tactics. Bit harsh, you know, over 180 minutes of football, you know, you make your own luck. So there has to, I agree with you fundamentally, but there has to be some sort of credit to Ollie and his team, you know, really. So yeah, with that being said, footy talk, let's get into some, you know, general footballing stuff that's going on in this world of football, people. What have we got? Let's start with the Athletic, in fact. You know, look away, Chelsea fans, you know. Could get from bad to worse. But let's start with here. Ricketts family present Chelsea with 8-point plan for the club's future. The Ricketts family have presented Chelsea fans with an 8-point plan outlining their vision for the club's future as part of their bid to buy the West London club. They say they will never participate in the European Super League. Never say never, because if everyone gets involved again, you will. And have committed to keeping the club at Stamford Bridge. The Ricketts family are one of 4 shortlisted bidders to buy Chelsea and also own the Chicago Cubs baseball team. Roman Abramovich put the club up for sale after being sanctioned by the UK government last month. Some honey, please, Antonio. As you know, blah, blah, blah. You know, some Chelsea fans have been very critical of the Ricketts' attempts to buy the club, and we all saw the protest. Apparently, they said the Chelsea Supporters Trust released a statement that the Ricketts family was not in the best interest of the team. This is in part due to Joe Ricketts, the patriarch of the family, branding Muslims my enemy in a leaked email from 2019. Now, some would say he's probably in the right place at that club. But I mean, while I agree that people like this shouldn't be anywhere, do we really expect people like this at all clubs, whatever they are, you know, in this very country? It's wrong, but I think the fans are right to care. I don't think the people involved will care about that, you know. there's a certain group of people, if they criticize, then this would get wrapped up straight away. There would be nothing. And until I see them criticize them, then there's a myth. But there's certain groups, unfortunately, Muslims being one, you can talk a lot of shit about, nothing's going to be said, you know. Joe has no role at the clubs or in the bid to buy Chelsea. A statement said, over the past fortnight, the Ricketts family has met with several supporter groups and carefully listened to all their feedback. As we enter the next phase of the process, we are sharing a list of specific commitments that give fans a pivotal role in protecting Chelsea's heritage and building for future success. We'll continue to discuss our ambitions for the club with fans and the wider footballing community in the coming days. And they said, we will make no change to the club's name, badge or crest or Chelsea blue without the consent of supporters, never participate in European Super League, and always protect the integrity and heritage of Chelsea FC. Commit the resources necessary across all levels of the club to continue winning trophies, including investing in the first team, experienced football leadership and academy. Put diversity and inclusion at the heart of the club and fight against any form of discrimination or inequality. Create an advisory committee with diverse representation to ensure our decisions are informed by a former men's and women's first team player, leaders of the CST, Chelsea Supporters Trust, Chelsea pitch owners, and the people who own a percentage of Chelsea's pitch. They never let you forget about it. And influential community leaders. Explore every option to redevelop Stamford Bridge and do everything in our power to keep playing in this historic stadium until you deem that everything in your power can't keep you in that stadium, which again, really Chelsea have to probably consider moving away. No matter how much these Chelsea pitch owners think you're going to have to at some point. Chelsea have won the Champions League twice and done everything. Your stadium don't reflect that. Explore every option to redevelop Stamford. Well, we already said that, sorry. Match the current commitment to Chelsea FC women's and increase the number of women's matches played at Stamford Bridge. Continue the vital charitable work for Chelsea Foundation, seeking to use the power of the football club and sport to motivate, educate, and inspire. The Ricketts family will fly into London for discussions with the club this week alongside any other bidders, people. Sergio Ramos was back in the PSG squad after 2 months out with a calf injury. I found this quite funny. Fans shouting shoot is putting off our players, says Graham Potter. Flipping hell, mate. Come on, man. Bloody hell. The build-up suggests we're getting there. Of course, the longer you go, you can hear the crowd shoot. And that sometimes is a challenge for the players because sometimes there's an opportunity to shoot. Sometimes it's a chance for the block. And then the transition, and sometimes maybe one more pass gets you in a better position. But if you miss the pass, you should have shot. Fuck it up. Allegedly, ticketless fans will not be allowed to enter into Qatar during the World Cup due to accommodation concerns, people. So we'll have to see, people. Fans with match tickets will be granted official FIFA IDs, which will then be used to facilitate entry visas, people. For example, any United States fans wanted to watch their team at the World Cup for the first time in 8 years would not be allowed to fly to the country and then attempt to purchase tickets for the games against England on arrival. So, yeah, that's something there. Allegedly, what's all of this? No way I'm reading that. This is just for my own thingy. But allegedly, the Super Bowl should not feel bigger than the Champions League. PSG's Nasser El-Khelafi on how he wants to grow the game. Again, that's from my personal reading. Let's see what David Ornstein has also said, people. Brother, he's moving. Brother, Graham Potter. Come on, people. The fan shouting, shoot. Hey, sounding like Ty and that, man. Respect to Ty, but fuck good. Oh, allegedly, if we look at Ornstein, allegedly Jack Grealish is to get a 7-figure deal with Gucci. Bloody hell, mate. After stinking up the place for City right now. Brazy. Apparently, he's on the verge of agreeing a major endorsement contract with Gucci. Grealish has often been photographed wearing its items, but they'll usually be purchased or gifted to individuals, blah, blah, blah. The deal Grealish is set to sign is believed to be worth 7 figures, and considering Gucci's ordinarily uses stars from acting and music industries to promote its brand, blah, blah, blah. That's good for him. Champions League place through FA Cup comes with a catch. And we've heard a lot of rumors allegedly around how you might Gucci headband for sure. How if you win the FA Cup, there could be stuff. Apparently, people, this has been seen as a way to get underperforming but commercially significant teams, for example, Manchester United or Arsenal, who missed out on the European football entirely this season, into the competition. As such, teams who have not qualified for the Champions League by normal means but rank highest in the coefficients could reach the competition based on their performance during the previous 5 campaigns. Yet they will need to have finished in the first spot outside their domestic divisions, Champions League spaces, or the next one after that if the team above them have also qualified via the historic route. For example, Manchester United in 6th couldn't qualify if West Ham finished 5th ahead of them, as they're not allowed to leapfrog anyone. However, one more way in which historically successful teams can qualify by football as such. If semi-finalists Crystal Palace won the FA Cup this season, the Champions League place would not be available to them, as their coefficient is not among the highest 2 in Europe, outside those who have already qualified for the group stages of the competition. For the FA Cup to become relevant to Champions League qualification, the Premier League would need to have a team in 5th place that is among the 2 highest coefficients in Europe, outside of those who have already qualified, and a cup winner who is also among the 2 highest coefficients. For example, if United finished 5th and Spurs won the FA Cup, Spurs win the trophy, but finished mid-table, then they were both the top teams in Europe. And they were both the top 2 teams in Europe to not qualify automatically. They would get in. But again, if the Premier League's 5th place team is not among the top 2 coefficients, then the country will not have any teams entering via this method. That is hella confusing, brother. Grealish first season winning trebles and getting free Gucci. Big W, facts, man. Gucci's boots. Nah, man, I don't know about Gucci football boots. Allegedly, Wolves eye 2 midfielders with Neves and Moutinho possibly leaving, people. There is an acceptance that after 5 years of service, Neves would be sold if a suitable offer arrives and gives him the chance to play Champions League football. Talks via middlemen have taken place, and at present, the most likely destination is Barcelona, people, as you lot can see. There, people. Though Premier League teams are known to be keen, and Wolves would gladly sign him to a new contract. As you know, Moutinho's deal expires in June, and while talks are ongoing, there's clearly a chance he too will leave. And apparently, Wolves are in the market, and they're looking at Mateus Nunes, who is a guy I want. João Paulinho is quite decent, and obviously they've got Mr. João Mendes helping them, so it's a brazy one. Southampton and the FA have riled over Tino Livramento, people. Obviously, long story short, that's because he went to go and play for the 21 despite not necessarily being fit. Tottenham are planning to visit Israel as part of their pre-season preparations, people. And they'll also be going to South Korea. Player of the Year awards will still be online. England families hosted in Qatar. The families of senior players started preparing for the World Cup with a fact-finding trip to Qatar. The fathers of Harry Maguire, Declan Rice, Harry Kane, along with Maguire's agent, were invited by the Supreme Council, blah, blah, blah. Apparently, Mateta is in good form, and apparently there's his boots have sparked a legal issue, people. But the negotiations of his sponsorship deal with a sports manufacturer are linked to an ongoing battle in his homeland in France. He's been accused by his former lawyer of going back on a deal to pay him 25 grand commission for securing him a 4-year boot deal. He claims that his 10% cut was never paid. Yeah, he got finessed, boy. I don't advocate doing that, but he got finessed. And this guy seems to be a bookie one, because this lawyer was involved in the Papagay deal to Watford, where we obviously see him at Marseille now. So what does that make? I mean, Oliver Skip was due to sign a new deal at Spurs. He's become a more important player under Conte off the back of his loan in Norwich. So yeah, man. So yeah, it makes sense. On a rather sad bit of news as well, get well soon. Louis van Gaal revealed yesterday that he is battling prostate cancer, the 70-year-old. He's also had COVID, also damaged his hip. He's not really had a nice time in terms of health. And we all know this is a man that when you mention Louis van Gaal, he's everything, including football heritage. In fact, that's an understatement for him. So we're hoping, you receive the best treatment, and obviously you're on the mend, man. It's shit news, innit? You don't want to hear that with anybody. So yeah, not just him as well. Everybody going through anything. This is why you always hear me say I'm wishing you lot good health, because we do underestimate that and really do understate just having good flipping health, people. We do buy it in that regards, man. If I'm completely honest with you guys, people, don't need to bore you with that. Already know that. Sorry, folks. Lastly, I wanted to show you best wishes to him 100%. Jose Mourinho's been in top form, allegedly, people. Allegedly, Jose's been in top form. You shit yourself a little bit in front of me. I love Jose. Crud. He's confronted a journalist. Long story short, apparently this journalist criticized Jose Mourinho on Italian radio and then asked him about a question in a press conference. One thing I like about Jose, he does his research, you know. Let's see exactly what Jose said. I was expecting a much more aggressive question, more negative and violent after I listened to you on the radio. I didn't expect such an easy question. My conclusion is that you are much more aggressive and violent on the radio, but when you come here, you shit yourself a little bit in front of me. Hey, Jose, you know, crazy. And then he went on to say, the guy said, you've been here 6 months since you signed for Roma. Would you change anything you've done in terms of choices, statements, requests, or anything that you've done? You are here in practically every press conference, but either you are very intelligent and you want people to think you are not, or you are not intelligent at all. I want to think you're intelligent, but you like to do what you do. Crazy. Hey, Jose's a legend, but we already know he's a legend, but he's a legend. And apparently Mourinho also said any other coach would be praised for fantastic football. It was a difficult match. It's tough to play here. João Paulo's sides always have a clear philosophy. The culture in Rome is that if you win the derby, you go into paradise. If you lose, it's a total disaster. But we managed to keep our feet on the ground, focus on this game and get the victory. If it had been any different coach, people would be talking about our goals as fantastic football, building from the back, but they won't do that with me. Crazy. Shout out to him, man. That's crud. What else is there? Oh, man said Iwobi was brilliant against West Ham. That's a myth. Ranić has said Rashford must lift his confidence by himself, and it's true, bro. You need to find it within, or the fans can't believe in you or anything. I love the way Ranić is very honest about United's DNA, needing better players, etc., etc. Ralph Ranić said, I don't think that the changes had any effect on the rhythm of the game in the first half, but when we realised after 55 minutes that we needed a goal, we brought on Marcus for Scotty. He had a yellow card, otherwise I wouldn't have taken him off, but with a yellow card, I think it was the right decision to take him off. Marcus, it's no secret that he's not having his best time right now. It has to do with rhythm and confidence as well. Again, it's our job to help him to get this confidence back, and that's why I decided to bring him on. In the end, he has to do it himself, obviously, but the only thing we can do is speak to him regularly and tell him what we expect from him and what he should do. The rest has to be done by himself. There are quite a few examples this season of players. Some are still here with us, and one or two are no longer here, have shown that it's possible to develop within a couple of weeks a level of confidence where you can be a different player again. We all know that Marcus can play better, but again, in the end, the steps he has to take himself. Mbappe said, if I decided my PSG future, I would have said so, people. Let's see exactly what he said. If I had made my decision, I would have said so. I don't have to answer to anyone. If I had made the decision, I would have taken responsibility. The good and bad things, I've always assumed them by the way. I don't have to hide. I didn't kill anyone. I just want to make the best decision I can. I'm still thinking about it because there are new elements, new parameters. I want to make the right choice. I know that for people, it takes a little while. And you have heard PSG offering him the highest earner, the captaincy, and the rest of it, people. And then he said, and then he went on to say, is staying at PSG possible? Yes, of course. Now, again, it makes sense to not say everything in it, really. Apparently, Bayern Munich have had 12 players on the pitch after an incredible substitution mix-up during their 4-1 win over Freiburg as the match is temporarily stopped. I mean, fantastic analysts, world-class footballers, elite gaffer, but no one knows in football you can't have 12 versus 11. I hear that, people. Allegedly, just over 80 minutes of Saturday's game had been played when a late Bayern Munich sub had led to the chaos. Solé was sent into action to replace Talisio, people. The defender, however, came on before Kingsley Coleman, who was subbed at the same time for Sabitzer and who had been removed on the field, leaving Bayern momentarily with 11 outfield players. A handful of seconds were played before the game was stopped and the appropriate number of footballers restored, and Sabitzer went on to add a fourth for the visitors. Crazy. Absolutely brazy. One of the Freiburg defenders said, Sola came in and I noticed that nobody went off. The game started again. I first counted the players and then informed the referee. If I hadn't done, I think he wouldn't have noticed. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Once again, Manchester United have failed to win any of the 6 Premier League games in which Cristiano Ronaldo hasn't started, by the way, folks. Just thought I'd mention that. And Jermaine Pennant's right. If Declan Rice is worth 150, Vieira is worth 250, 100%. No, man's getting at Billy Gilmore. I swear these men pretend they don't listen to haters, but they make sure they're in the... I mean, it's just reading the room. You know, it's reading the room. I've done that a couple of times, man, and you'll have seen it. There were content creators. Hang on a minute. You want to do content with me, but when I reached out to you, you was calling me a dud, and you were saying certain things. And every now and again, like, I won't reveal them, but they tried to reach out to do content. I remember when people were trying to cancel me online, I was pre in the like, because every now and again, man, pre the likes. You know, it's not even the people tweeting. I'll pre the likes, seeing people like them and whatnot. That hang on. You're being a pagan, but now you're not. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense. It don't make no sense, man. But on that note, though, people, I'm going to run out to Sainsbury's, go and get some honey, and I'm going to be back at 11:30. Twitch gang, if you're on Twitch, then it's not going to affect you. Make sure you've gone on to YouTube and hit the like button. Last question, though. Would you break your wage structure if you could have Pogba at Arsenal? No. As much as I like Pogba, no. The only one I'm trying to... is if it's Haaland and Mbappe, with guys that Neymar... which is an exception, you know, I would say really just Mbappe and Haaland, 2 players that are not going to sign for Arsenal. Definitely, maybe later on in their career, out, but not now. Then I don't think it's worth it, especially as, you know, I know Arsenal like to tear out contracts, but, you know, Kolasinac was on 100 bags, couple man out on P's have gone, Aubameyang's gone, Lacazette's wages off the wage bill, probably have to deal with Pepe's. It doesn't make sense to, it's like cleaning a house, it's like cleaning your room, and then just getting a garbage bag and just dashing it all over. Like after you've hoovered clean, got every bit of dust out, it don't make no sense personally. As much as I like Pogba, if it was just on ability, I'd drive Pogba from Manny to Arsenal tomorrow. But he's got a bag of interest, and none of it's going to be from Arsenal. On that note, though, literally I have 15 minutes to run to Sainsbury's and back. I'll probably be 5 minutes late. On that, though, I'm going to love and leave you lot. People, do not forget, though, it's a massive day of content. We're here at 10 a.m. We're back here on Twitch at 11:30 as well as YouTube. Open up another tab and do up the YouTube one for man as well. 7 p.m. is Crystal Palace against Arsenal, in it. So I'm going to love and leave you lot because I really want this honey, people. I'm out. Safe. It's been appreciative for you lot listening, your talking points, providing, you know, someone put in Oliver Skip's deal. So always providing talking points. It's amazing. And we're back here at 10 a.m. tomorrow as well, where we'll focus on the Champions League and any other talking points that emerge.
There's always that active red light defending. I think it's like